Hello, this is Tom Peary again with the Preservation Authority at Extreme Genes Family History Radio and extremegenes.com. You can always contact me at help@justasktomp.com. I'm happy to help you in any way I can. That's why we're here. I've been asked to do this segment on how to digitize home archives. Easy for me to say and easier to do. So if you need help with scanning photos and documents, those are some of the biggest things that people really have tons and tons of that have been handed down from generation to generation. Sometimes they're the great big huge ones. Sometimes they're little teeny postage stamp size ones. There's all kinds of ones that we need to get scanned. We need to get them digitized because the colors will fade. All kinds of things will have problems with them. You'll find ones that are cracked. You'll find ones that have water damage. All kinds of things like this. So what we need to do is we need to get those digitized. We need to get those all set up. Now there's a lot of people that do a lot of different kinds of things on them, where they might want to go in and repaint them. They can do different things, colorization and all these things. But I always completely 100% recommend before you touch anything, you always want to scan it. Even if it's almost unlegible what it is, take the time to scan it first. Because a lot of things can be cleared up in Photoshop or Digital Darkroom or many different programs like that. But you always want to start off with the best scan you can. So scan it at the highest DPI you can and make sure that you store all these things in a place that they'll always be safe. Now once you go in and start doing Photoshop and different things like that, that's fine. But always make sure you keep your original before you go in and make any changes, because you might go in and do something that you think, oh my goodness, this was better before, or hey, I've got somebody that's more skilled to go and do what needs to be done. So if your pictures need work on them and you don't have time to do the work, that's fine. You have to start someplace. Let's get them scanned. That's the most important thing. There's a lot of different kind of scanners on the market. I really like Epson has some good products, Canon has some good products, and Kodak has some amazing products. In fact, if you're going to be doing a lot of scanning, I recommend you rent one of the higher end Kodak scanners. It has both a sheet fed scanner for your documents and some of your photos, and also has a flatbed for things that are damaged or things that are in books that can't go through the auto feeder. And you can rent these for a week at a time or whatever through places like Easy Photo Scan in the US, and I'm sure there's places in other countries that do the same options. And a lot of the family history libraries where they do genealogy and family history also have centers where they can do it. So check with them, find out if there's somebody in your area that can do it right for you, can do it at a reduced fee. Maybe sometimes they'll even do it free, or get together some different friends and buy a scanner yourself. Then when you're done, sell it on eBay. Or go to eBay and find somebody that's got a real nice one that wants to get rid of it. They don't need it anymore. You can buy it, do all your scanning, then sell it on eBay. So it hardly ends up costing you anything. But like I say, it's worth spending a little bit more money and getting a real good quality one. And if possible, buy a high-end good Kodak one or a good Canon one, and you'll usually be happy. And a lot of the vendors that you'll run into at the virtual RootsTech will probably be able to steer you in the right way and help you find some real good ones. And like I say, there's a place in the US you can go to ezphotoscan.com, just the letters E, the letter Z, and then photoscan.com, and they'll be able to help you. They can tell you if there's people in your country that do the same thing. If you can't find anybody, go ahead and shoot me off a letter at the email address right here, and I'll be more than happy to help you and see what I can do to help you find. Great people like Linda and Max are there to help you, and through the connections we have with them, we'll be able to find somebody that can help you, no matter whether you're in Russia, you're in Portugal, you're in Brazil, you're in Mexico, US, whatever. We'll do everything we can to get the information that you need to help you. So what you want to do is you always want to scan things and scan them very, very carefully. And I always recommend you scan them with a scanner that has LEDs versus light bulbs. The problem with light bulbs is some of them can actually damage your photos. If you have photos that are really damaged as it is, you don't want to make them any worse than they are. So I really recommend, if you can, get one that uses LED light. It's more consistent light. It doesn't have hot and cold spots. It's a lot more consistent. So I really recommend that. Like I say, the Kodak scanner is wonderful. Now you want to be careful when you're doing all your scanning. You want to do things in groups. So I highly recommend that you organize everything first. Organize things by size, organize things by thickness, organize things by quality. So if you have some really good photographs that are 8 by 10 and they're really crisp without any problems, put those in a stack. If you have some more 8x10s that are kind of cracked and have a little bit of damage, put those in another stack. If you have ones that are really, really bad, faded and things like this, put those in another stack. Because then when you go through, you can scan them and do them. If you need to do them in the flatbed scanner, you've got that. If you can do them in the sheet scanner, that's great. Like Kodak's sheet scanner is really, really fast. It's amazing how fast you can go through and scan them. And the neat thing about Kodak's system, it'll scan both sides at the same time if you want. So if Aunt Martha wrote some different notes on the back saying, oh, this was so-and-so at such and such a place, when you scan it, you'll scan the front and you'll scan the back together. So when you go and look at them, you can see, oh, this is the front, this is the back, this is describing what it was on this particular photo. So that makes it really, really nice too. So do all your ones that need to be scanned both sides, put those in separate stack. And obviously, your ones that can be sheet fed, you want to do that because the Kodak scanner and others do really, really good jobs. They do it at a high DPI, and they'll make it really great for you. Now, when you go to the next size, where you have the little teeny ones, you're going to really want to do those on a flatbed scanner. And many people like Kodak, they have software, so you can put several photos on your scanner at the same time. Just make sure you leave a little bit of space between them and keep them as straight as you can, and then go through and scan it as a batch. Then once it scans all those photos as a batch, it'll let you go out back and actually do each one individually, so you don't have to scan them. You're just going to go in and crop and say, okay, this is a photo, this is a photo, this is a photo, this is a photo. But always keep your batch scanned too, just in case you missed one or there's a problem with one of your scans that aren't just right on. And always double check everything, because nothing's worse than going and looking at a photo and going, oh my goodness, a corner of it's missing, and that's really an important part of it. So you want to make sure you do things like that. And so go through and scan those and archive your things in the cloud or someplace where you're going to be able to keep them and access to them pretty easily. So it's very important you do that. And with documents, same thing. If you have documents that are double-sided, find a scanner that will scan both sides at once, because that's going to save you a lot of time. It might cost a little bit more, but the time you're going to save is going to be worth it. So I highly recommend you do that also. Same thing with your documents. You'll have some documents that are on really thin paper. You have some documents that are on thick paper. And you have to go through and try different things to find out where it works best. If you're not sure, find a blank piece of paper that's the same type and try scanning that first. And always do one sheet at a time till you make sure it's going to be able to handle the product that you have right. And if you have any ones that come out of those old, what we call the magnetic ones back from the 60s and 70s that were actually wax that really can mess up your pictures, I really highly recommend you get them out of those ASAP. If they've already damaged your photo with wax on them, you want to get something like a good archival onion skin and put between each picture so that when you put them together, it doesn't transfer that sticky stuff from the back of one to the front of another. If that's already happened, that's a whole nother topic we'll go into at another time where we're not so pressed for time, and be able to teach you how you can clean the wax off of those pictures. But most importantly, you want to get those out. And like I said at the very beginning of this episode, if they are in those plastic sleeves, before you do anything, go and scan them. Scan them in the sleeve. They're not going to be the best scan, but at least you're going to have something to start with in case they're damaged as you remove them. Same thing with those cute little corners that we either licked or pasted down and put things in. Sometimes the glue from those eats through the paper and can damage your photos. So you want to be careful with things like this. If you have photos that are torn and they're actually physically separated, scan each piece separately, and then with Photoshop yourself or other people can go in and help you. You can splice the pictures back together, go in and color correct. It's just absolutely amazing what technology can do now. The things that will be able to go in and fix your pictures, repair your pictures, take old photos that have been faded or damaged and make them almost like brand new again. In fact, sometimes even better than new. You can edit people out, you can add people in, there's so many different things you can do. But the first thing you want to do is get that high quality scanner and organize all your things. Now another thing, when you're preserving documents and such, if you're going through Aunt Martha's attic and she's got tons and tons of stuff and there's just dust all over everywhere, you want to be really careful not to contaminate what's inside the box with what's outside the box. So you want to get all these documents and all these photos that have been stored forever, get them out of the attic, and you want to go to some kind of a place where you can actually spread out. Like if they're covered with dust and things, don't use the spray stuff. I really don't recommend that, because all that does is throws everything up in the air and it's going to settle on something else anyway. So what I recommend is getting a vacuum like they have for computers that are pretty reasonable price, and go in and vacuum all that stuff off. If you don't have access to that, you can get squirrel hair brushes, and then you can go in and brush it off the best you can. But make sure you do all that in one station where all your dirty things are. Then move all those things to a next station where then you'll open your box, you'll break the seal, take things out, and then start separating those out. Because you want to keep all your clean stuff with your dirty stuff. It's going to be bad. You want to make sure you go into different stations of dirty, semi-dirty, started to clean, things I got clean. That way you won't contaminate your nice documents with what's off your bad ones. And you want to be really careful with rat droppings and things like that. Make sure you wear gloves when you're handling boxes for the first time, because you don't know what's been on there. So you want to just do that to preserve yourself. Make sure you use good hand sanitizer when you're done. And then just make sure you put everything in separate areas. On the website, we'll go in and teach you some different things you can do to keep moisture out of the documents you go back and restore. So that's the most important thing. Get all your stuff nice and clean and get everything prepped properly before you start your scanning. There's all kinds of good tips and tricks to go into a lot more detail on our website, on many other websites out there. That's one great thing about all the different search engines that are available out there. Go in and type what you're looking for, and chances are you'll be able to find something that's going to be able to help you be able to do exactly what it is you need to get your stuff done. So just don't look at it as one big project and how can I do this. Start small, do little things. If all you can afford is a small little scanner, hey, that's a good place to start. Just make sure you take care of all your documents, and when you're done, put them back in a nice clean box, seal them up really, really good, and do everything you can to keep moisture out of them and rats and different things that will go in and can actually damage your item. So that's what I really recommend, is get everything in a good, systematic way to do things. And in the other segment, we talked a little bit about preserving videos, but there's a lot of different ways you can do that too, and I'll touch lightly on this. If you want more, go into it. As you can see, I've got several different formats of videotapes here. You always want to store them on the side. Don't store them flat, because flat can sometimes damage them, because the control track is right at the edge of the tape, which tells the VCR that you're running in it what the stuff is, how to run it, what speed, and things like this. And if the control track gets damaged, you can lose everything else on your tape. So you want to preserve your control track. So that's why I always stack my tapes on the ends to make sure that they're in a good quality place. Keep them away from heaters. A lot of people make the mistakes. They take a box, they think, oh, I'm going to put it in my closet and put it up on the top shelf, not realizing that there's a heating duct that runs right along below that top shelf or right behind it in the wall. And that can cause all kinds of problems. We've had people that have brought in stacks and stacks of 8mm Super 8, 16mm tape, and the ones on the bottom were just basically dust because of the heat, and the ones in the middle, fortunately, were preserved. If any of your film's starting to smell chemically, then you know something's wrong. You need to get those done fast. And just because you have things that are damaged, don't think, oh, nothing can be done. This photo I can hardly even see, I'm going to throw it out. Always make sure you scan everything first, because there's a lot of new things that are coming on that can take photos that are almost don't even exist anymore, and you can scan those, run them through those processors, or make them look great again. So just be patient, take your time, don't get overwhelmed with what you need to do all at once, and you'll have a great time. If you have any questions, make sure you just email us right here, and I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Doesn't matter what country you're in, whether you're in Mexico, you're in Brazil, you're in Portugal, you're in Russia, you're in the Sudan, wherever. We're here to help you in any way we can. Everything that's going to be on our new website is going to be free. We'll get more longer videos up there to be able to help you and answer your questions. So if you need anything, let us know. Network at RootsTech. Talk to as many people as you can virtually. Go into different rooms and learn, ask questions, post things, and find out. That's the way we all learn. And this is Tom Perry, your preservation authority at Extreme Genes Family History Radio and ExtremeGenes.com, signing off. Have a great day and enjoy yourself.